We'll call to order the Stephenville Town Council meeting agenda for Thursday, February 13th, 2025. Janelle, would you please take the roll call?
Councilor Barker. Here. Councilor Brown. Here. Councilor Nelson.
Here.
Councilor Smith.
Here.
And Mayor Mickelson.
Here. Would you all please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 3. Item number 3 is public comments. We're taking public comments from citizens on any item that is not on the agenda tonight. Yes, ma'am. Would you please come up, state your name and address?
My name is Kate Miller, and I'm actually representing for 108 Main Street, Stevensville. That's my business address. My home address is 512 Tree School Road in Stevensville also. So I'm here. I have a number of issues with the business, the property, and I've asked the city a few of my questions, but we haven't really come to any final conclusions on it. Now that the dog shop is gone in, the hot dog place is creating more issues, but I'm just wondering if this is even the forum to bring any of this to your attention.
Okay, I can't answer anything here, but if you set up a meeting with me tomorrow morning, you can come to my office, we can sure talk about it. Yes.
Okay,
Would that work?
that would be super.
Yeah, we work great.
Okay, what time works for you?
Hmm?
What time would you like me to be there?
9 o'clock?
4:30.
9 o'clock, I'll be here.
Okay,
All right.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments on anything not on the agenda tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes. Item number 8, I'd like a motion to approve town meeting minutes of 1/21/2025, please. Councilman Smith?
Are we doing Cal first or town?
Cal.
Okay, I move that we accept the Cal meeting minutes of 1/21/25.
We have a motion by Councilmember Smith. May I have a second, please? We have a second by Councilmember Nelson. Do we have a discussion from the council on the Cal meeting minutes? Are we good on the minutes? Do we have any comments, corrections? None? Do we have any comments from the public on the Cal meeting minutes? Seeing none, Janelle, would you please take the vote?
Councilor Barker. Aye. Councilor Brown. Aye. Councilor Nelson.
Aye.
Councilor Smith.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Item number B. I'd like a motion to approve town council meeting minutes of 1/23/2025, please. Councilmember Smith.
I move to accept the town council meeting minutes of 1/23/2025.
We have a motion by Councilmember Smith. Do we have a second? We have a second by Councilmember Nelson. Do we have a discussion from the council on the town council meeting minutes? No discussion from the council? Do we have discussion from the public on town council meeting minutes? Seeing none, Janelle, would you please take the vote?
Councilmember Barker. Aye. Councilmember Brown. Aye. Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Moving along to item number 5, approval of bi-weekly claims. Claims number 19484 to 19515. And entertain a motion, please. Councilmember Barker.
I move that we approve biweekly claims number 19484 through 19515.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker. Do we have a second? Councilmember Nelson.
I'll second that.
We have a motion. We have a second. Do we have a discussion from the council on the claim? Councilmember Nelson.
Claim number 19484, first claim, A to Z Supply Corps Pierce Police Vest.
Yeah, that was for Officer Pierce Vest.
And bulletproof,
Yes, sir.
stab-proof vest.
Yeah, they have a 5-year shelf life, so in 5 more years it'll come out.
Okay, thank you.
That price has increased.
Absolutely. From 30 years ago at $250 to 2025 and over 1,000, so. it's just- I guess that's the cost of doing business.
I hope the product has gotten better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Good.
They're Kevlar vests, they're top line.
Councilmember Barker.
Claim number 19492 for Kevin McGilly, traveled from wastewater costs, stayed with a friend in Anaconda to help save on 2 nights motel. 196 though is that for fuel and meals?
No, he went
That was the
to
second.
training in Phillipsburg.
So he stayed in Anaconda but went to Phillipsburg for training.
And the 196 is the reimbursement for his travel.
Councilmember Brown.
I just wanted to thank the young man for saving the town a little bit of money by staying with a friend.
That's right.
Do we have any, it was just training?
Classes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're trying to get him up to speed. One of the reasons we did hire him because he sounded so interested in getting his wastewater certification. So every class that's coming up, he's doing it. In fact, last week, Bobby Schuler came up. She's a lady, if you remember, that did your rate adjustment. She was coming through and she stopped and she did an afternoon class with Public Works upstairs for 3 hours. We got them together, she went up there, so everything is hard for him.
It's good that he's motivated.
Yep. Councilmember Brown.
On claim number 19489, the Firemen's Relief Association, the 25,000, can someone just explain that again, please?
That's the retirement, right, Jeff?
Correct.
Yep. That's retirement we have to pay every year for the firemen. Has to go to the state retirement fund.
It's not the state retirement fund, it's the town retirement fund.
Fund. But it goes into does the state here in the coffer?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
nothing to do with the state, it's the
Okay.
town.
all right.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the claims from the council? Councilmember Nelson.
Claim number 19497,
Denny
Downey and Associates, 12,300.
Yes, that's part of the contract we signed with them, and they're starting to work with GNET, the AFR, which is the yearly financials, annual financial.
So the like a.
That's who that's who you guys approved on doing our audit.
Oh, auditing, okay,
Yes, and this is part of the audit.
thank you.
They started the process. And if you look down at 19506, the HDR engineering, you see the system SCADA upgrades. That money is coming out from another pay period. That money is engineering, that's part of the ARPA grant. All the cost of the town.
Okay.
As part of your sheet there, I'll explain my executive report.
Thank you. That actually makes a lot more sense.
Any other comments from the council on claims before we go to the public? Any comments from the public on the claims? Mr. Muller?
Yeah, I have a question. 19494, first call, computer solutions. I understand it's for IT services for February. We're paying $299 a month for IT service for the fire department? That's ludicrous. And then we turn down and we pay an additional amount for internet to the same people for the fire department and every other department. It's crazy.
Yep.
I mean, can we do it on an as-need basis and save some dollars? I mean,
It's in the contract.
well, I understand it's in the contract, but can we renegotiate the contract or change the contract or look at the contract to see if we can make a more equitable deal for the town? It just seems to me like we're paying a lot of money for IT.
That's right.
You know, it's crazy for the amount that we use. It's not like we're doing massive computer things all the time. I mean, it stays pretty stagnant, especially in some of the departments. So, you know, I think we need to look into that.
Just off the top of your head, was it a 3 or 5 year one?
It was a 3-year, so we should be coming up on that in the
This year?
fall of 25, I believe.
This fall, it's up, yeah. Renegotiate or find somebody else.
We need to be looking at that.
Okay, any other comments from the public on the claims? None from the council? Seeing none, Janelle, would you please take the vote?
Councilor Barker,
Aye.
Councilor Brown,
Aye.
Councilor Nelson,
Aye.
and Councilor Smith.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Item number 6, administrative reports. Airport, Mr. Brian Jermaine.
All right. Excuse me. Regarding maintenance, we've been able to manage the snow pretty well. We have been filing NOTAMs consistently throughout this time, file NOTAMs for the runway surface conditions, the snow piles around the perimeter, et cetera. So we are required to, anytime there's any snow accumulation on the surface or around the airport, we have to have a NOTAM in place identifying it so that we have that. And those have been up and up to date. Thursday night after the snow and wind, we had some drifts that got a little out of control. And so we ended up shutting the runway down for about 48 hours while we got out there and got all those maintained because they were such that low wing aircraft could not safely transition through the airport. So closed it down Friday morning and then opened it back up Sunday morning. And it's been open since. CIP project. So Tyler from Morrison, Maryland, myself and Craig Thomas, we all went out to Helena last week to plead our case to the State Department of Aeronautics. Meeting went really well. At the end of it, it was kind of a bit of a roller coaster, but at the end of it, they ended up funding 100% of our match for all of our projects that we were trying to do this year. So it's not a single penny of local money to go and complete the work this year. So that's all the asphalt maintenance plus the new fuel tank, which that was a big deal because they really don't like funding revenue producing projects as they call it, which is the fuel tank will be for us. But ultimately they ended up funding it too. So that was a huge win. So we will, now that we've got all that nailed down, we're gonna, I actually said here in early March, we're gonna put those projects out to bid, but we met with Janelle and kind of worked through the schedule, and it'll be the very end of this month that we'll put out those solicitations and then start getting those obviously, when those bids come in, we'll open them here and then move forward. But that'll be the third, what is that, the 20th? No, 27th of March is the town council that we're targeting for that. Let's see. I know I've mentioned this before a little bit, but it continues to progress. There is a local Montana fuel vendor that is buying the tank that's on site from Hawthorne. They have an agreement with them in place, so they're moving forward with that. We've figured out kind of all the terms for them to provide us fuel, so we'll get some of those final details nailed down, and we'll bring it here to council. But I think we've got a really good path here that maybe within a month, 6 weeks, we can at least have some temporary fuel back until we get our tank. And that will also, how it's set up with this vendor, we'll actually get the revenue from that as well. So it'll be a lot better than the situation from before. Airport board reviewed some new airport layout plans provided by Morrison Merrily. So we went through all those, and ultimately, I think kind of settled on something similar to really what we have right now, and just made some minor tweaks is kind of really what we're targeting. And then lastly, lease invoices. Lease invoices all went out at the end of last year. I said here we had received 14,635 to date. We've received about another 715 in addition to that from back payments. So that's an addition. And then we've got, we still have about $3,600 in lease payments outstanding, plus about $2,600 in user invoices, which are about to get out. So there's another $6,000 or so, hopefully left to come in. That's about it.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Moving along to finance. Steven's gone. Jeff?
Okay, I'm sure in your packet you have the monthly report from the fire department. January, we had 49 requests for service, 17 within the town, 26 in the district. 3 requests for mutual aid and 3 missed calls. Missed calls will be a medical call where we did not have a responder in conjunction with the S5 ambulance. So that can be something to the living center or even to their own medical facility out on the highway. We get paid to those places as well as S5 ambulance does. But we may not have had somebody respond to that particular location in our call. And a lot of times we will respond, they will counsel us en route, but not give us a run number or assign it to us. Those 3 could be just that, I'm not sure. So anyway, pretty much a monthly report is how they all run. We're running right in that 40 to 50 calls a month type average thing going on. Pretty much standard as we come every month. So we ended the year with 704 requests for service last year, which is an all-time high for the fire department. As we get busier, more people move in, numbers go up. So that's what that is. We also, at the end of the month, had our annual banquet, which some of you were in attendance, which is great to see you there. At that, we did promote firemen to the lieutenant position. Bob Robach is now a lieutenant for the town fire department. So it's good to have him moving up the ladder and taking on positions of leadership. So that's all good. We were able to get the ladder out and get the transmission, power steering, hydraulic leak, it's all encompassing one thing, repaired and taken care of. So that's back in service now. Now we're chasing down the elusive short or draw on the battery system. So we'll go through that and get that narrowed out as well. Other than that, it's pretty much business as usual.
Any questions for Jeff?
One thing that I would maybe request, Steve's not here tonight, but if we can get a little sand thrown on a ramp over there, that'd be great.
Okay.
I mean, we have to put it in front of the drive back into the bay now, so.
Well, I just thought that walking across there.
Yeah, it gets treacherous up there.
Okay. I'll
Thanks.
make sure it's taken care of, Jeff. Okay. Police Department, Mr. Bo.
Mayor, esteemed colleagues. Hey, so you should in your packet have a copy of the police department activity report for January. You might notice that I've revised that a little bit and then added additional categories in there. So I won't go over each additional one. More or less, I'll just let you, if you have a question, I'll just answer those one at a time. More or less, I'd like to talk about the police department, where we're at. So right now, we're staffed. And Kenny's down at the academy. He starts week 4 Monday. He's finishing up the 3rd week of MLEA now, doing pretty well. All the progress reports I get for him are good. So don't have any concerns about that. And then, of course, Chris is over at the school as the resource officer, and he's trying to get himself dialed in. So we're looking good in all different phases. More importantly, the maintenance for our fleet, our staff, our patrol vehicles here has pretty much been completed for the year. So there shouldn't be any more things coming out of that line item. So we're looking good on that end. The chili cook-off, which is coming up March 15th.
Winner is already determined.
Yeah, is that right? I don't have any role in that. But, Ms. Cruz has helped me get dialed in with the chili cook-off, and things are looking good. We're getting a lot of buy-in from the community members and the local businesses in town. I started about the mid of January, putting out flyers and just letting people know. We've also got it posted on social media. 107 is going to run a few ads for us on air, free of charge to us. So I'm appreciative of their efforts as well. And the mayor has been walking around town, as he does, and getting the word out as well. And then, of course, when I do my walks through all the different businesses on Main Street, I always try to put a little extra in for the chili cook-off coming up. So it's kind of a big thing. I'm kind of looking forward to it. It'll be my first one. We didn't really get an opportunity to do it last year as I was coming on board, getting dialed in, and that was, well in advance of the time they start getting that thing off the ground. So looking forward to that. Any questions about the data from the activity report for the month of January? None? Was that good? Well, so yeah, and as you can tell, I typically like to compare data from one year to the next. I know that our calls for services are up, and as the fire chief noted earlier, more people, more calls for service. That's typically the way it is. But what I'm most proud of is because of our visibility in the community, we've been somewhat a deterrent to criminal activity. So felonious criminal activity is almost non-existent, which is something we can hang our hat on. So if you have any questions, you know where I'm at. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, we'll move on down to Public Works Activity Report. Like I said earlier, Steve has a sick kid tonight. He wasn't make it. You can read the report here. I will say, I sent you that all in an email. We're down to 10 meters unread, which is great. And also at the very bottom again, you reiterated earlier on the claims, they sent one employee, which was Kevin to Phillipsburg for wastewater training. So, Councilmember Barker.
With obviously the new snow coming again, I've noticed that the streets, when there is snow buildup where it started to melt, we need to see if we can get some of that removed. It is causing some issues. I do know that. I've had people comment on it. I'm not saying that the Public Works Department isn't doing a great job, but we need to try to lower the blade a little bit more down into the snow and the ice.
It is a bit rough.
Yeah, it is very rough. So, and now that we've got a new layer of snow and ice, it's gonna be a little more difficult to get. So if we can just have that cleared a little bit more and maybe a little bit wider, because it seems like they're down the street and it's not as wide as it needs to be.
I will say, it's been brought up to me a few times, and I've talked to Steve and Jeff. You drive his pickup in a plow, it bounces. He's got it down as far as it goes. And the big snow plow that Cody drives, the big orange one, if he puts that all the way down, like you said, he'll hit a manhole or he'll hit everything and could do some damage. That's why he doesn't put a lot of weight on it. Just saying.
Yeah, it just seems like it's not as what it has been in the past. So it just needs to.
And we have, which is great for the public. We've got public people driving around in their own personal pickups and snow plows, and they're running all over the place and moving stuff. So, I mean, it's kind of chaotic, but when you get 18 inches of snow downtown.
Absolutely, I
We're not
understand.
used to that. So we'll try our best. Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
You skipped the building department.
Oh, yeah. Building department, okay. Building department.
In the packet.
That's public works. Yeah, that's good. Oh, we did, like, Jeff.
You skipped
I
building.
skipped it, so. I'll move back up to the building department. Oh,
We jumped over the top of that one, didn't we?
yeah, I do. Okay, no questions? All right, move to item number 7, new business. A, discussion decision, resolution number 387F, resolution amending the town council rules for the town of Stephenville. As you all know, we had a town meeting last month. We, I should say you, the council, I'm not no longer, you, the council, revised your rules, you took some out, you added a few, and you can see in the yellow ones are the highlighted ones. So, with that, can I get a motion, please? Start the discussion. Councilmember Parker.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 387F, a resolution amending town council rules for the town of Stevensville.
We have a motion by Councilmember Parker. May I have a second, please? Councilmember Smith.
Second.
We have a motion and I have a second by Councilmember Smith. Do we have discussion from the council? Pretty cut and dry. Councilmember
Not so
Smith.
much a discussion, but a request that when this is all said and done, could we be issued a copy of these rules,
Oh, yeah.
please? Yeah.
And you should be, because at the very bottom, it says that you will sign it and it says that you will.
Oh, mhm.
So I sure wouldn't want you signing something that's incomplete. Town council rules receipt page at the very bottom. So I will say one thing, it brought up to me, with the permission from the council, I'd like to read a public comment from Jim Cruz. And it has to do with town council rules. Jim basically states that we should put in there, a provision that basically says that we should take public comment. Well, we all know we do take public comment anyway. And Jim states, I do not see anywhere in the newly proposed changes of the town council rules where prior to making a decision, the town council required to make public comment on a particular agenda item. There's no provision to hear public comment prior to making a decision. He's correct, it's not in here. I talked to Jim on the phone, he said, I think it should be in there. I mean, you don't do it, Bob, you always ask for public comment. Let's say a future mayor or somebody said, they don't ask it. I said, well, it's not in the town council rule. But it is in Robert's Rules of Order.
That's, that was the point I was gonna make right there.
It's in Robert's Rules of Order, so it's covered there. But if you guys want to amend this, and you want to put public comment in here before the decision, that's your call. It was Jim's suggestion. I'm putting it out there to you. So, Councilmember Brewer.
I don't see what,
You don't say what hurt?
I guess it would be better to add it than to not have it and then have
Somebody.
a challenge.
Okay.
We could say something in the order of having public comment according to Robert's rules.
There you go.
Do you need a motion to change this?
You need an amendment to change it, but you need to go to sections. What section you want to put it in?
If you're gonna refer to Robert's rules within the town council rules, then you need to have that as another exhibit to this town council rule. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So if you're gonna, that's what I'm saying, so anything that you're gonna reference back to, then you need to have that as another exhibit attached to this, just keep that in mind.
We can't add the amendment to it?
No.
This has nothing to do with Robert's rules, it just has adding.
But you said that you wanted to add
You
this.
said-
Oh, okay,
Yeah, scratch Robert rule wording then.
okay.
That's just,
It sounded nice.
Hmm?
It sounded nice.
yeah, sounded good, yeah. Okay, we're in section then. Is it council debate?
Yeah.
Let's play it.
Councilmember Brown?
Order of business, maybe we can just slide in public comment under the appropriate lines, like under number 4, public comment, approval of claims, public comment, public hearings, just in the appropriate, on the 1 through 15.
So that if you guys add it there, then I have to add that word, public comment, to every single agenda. Because that's setting up your agenda. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, that's for the agenda.
That's how you guys,
Not part
Can-
of the,
Is there a way that,
It is there.
Councilmember Barker.
is there a way that we couldn't put it in the guidelines for public comment on the back of that? The agenda that we have here already? Instead of having that under every opportunity? Instead of during the council meeting, you have 2 opportunities to comment. During the public comment period, near the beginning of the meeting, and before any decision-making, voting, it's right
it's
there.
already there.
It's there.
It's there already?
We have it here.
Yeah, it's already there.
So, on page 44, we could put public comment and then,
The guidelines for public.
oh, that's the order.
That's the agenda.
There's the agenda.
You can put it right
I
there.
think Stacy's right, it's already
It's
there.
already written right
It's already
here.
written.
Number 3 has,
Before any decision making, vote the council on an agenda item, public comment, so that's there already. Okay.
I think it's
So you
pretty
read
good.
that. You did, you.
Mr. Mayor.
What,
Do we have
any other questions from the council before we go to the public? No? Okay, Jeff?
If you go to part, 8, voting, if you just put a little blurb right in there, like second sentence, prior to any vote of the council, an opportunity for public comment shall be made. Done.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
That is a good one. Let's do that.
We probably need a motion to amend it to put it in there in a second.
Okay.
Councilmember Barker?
Here, we have it. How you all said it there. I'd like to make a motion to amend the original resolution number 387F, a resolution amending town council rules for the town of Stevensville to read as
Part 8 on voting.
Rate on voting prior to council vote, an opportunity for public comment shall be made.
Can you use that? Or do I have
I'll
to?
just listen to it.
Thank you, Jim.
We have a second.
Yes.
We have a motion, we have a second to amend it to add public comment to part 8 of the voting.
Yes.
Discussion from the council. Discussion from the public. Seeing none, now would you please take the vote?
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
and Councilmember Barker.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0 on the amendment. Okay, we'll move back to the original motion for the council rules. Council like to discuss, change, add any other things to the council. Done? Okay. Do we have any additions, corrections, or motions from the public on the council rules? And from the council, Janelle, would you please take the vote?
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
and Councilmember Barker.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number B, discussion decision, resolution number 561, a resolution adopting fees and locations for food trucks and food vendors by the town of Stevensville. So at the last park board meeting, which Isaiah was here, I believe we discussed some of this.
Yeah.
Trying to get more money into our park system, raising fees, there was ideas brought up, which I brought up, like the school have banners on the fence or whatever for advertising, stuff like that, and then also vendors came up. So as you can see, Andrina and Janelle got together and they came up with try to get us some more revenue down there, which would help our pavilion repairs, our bathroom maintenance, and other park-related expenses. Food trucks and food vendors would have to hold a transit business license with the town, and no electrical hookups would be provided. Spaces would not be rented during special events. Examples would be the creamery picnic. And with the council's permission, I'd like to read another public comment that came from Mr. Cruz. It has to do with this item number. With all due respect, establishing this sort of activity at Lewis and Clark Park is more likely than not a violation of the deed of the property. That is why we do not want the library to go in there nor the bike camp in 2013. We'll be allowing the use of public recreational areas for commercial activities. If those people want to do something like that, then they can go rent a property somewhere, besides it being not zoned for that sort of event anyway. Well, I talked to Jim on the phone also, and he came into agreement with me that he thought it should only be for special events. But I looked in our town ordinance in section 1821, item 13, it says, prohibited activities, display, offer, or sell, to sell or sell any article or services in a town park without first obtaining a permit from the town or as a part of a special event permitted by the town. So according to our town ordinance, we can do this at a town park. I did look at the deed that I had at home, a copy of that, and all it basically said is that Jim is right, we can't donate it to the library and all that other stuff or sell it off, but there's nothing in the language that I could find that says that we can't put vendors down there to help our income in the park, because we're already doing it. We're selling a pavilion down there, I mean, we're renting pavilion space down there. And last year, we raised over close to $1,000 on pavilion rentals. Well, that's generating money.
Plus the pool.
Yes, plus the pool. It's a premier festival, special event too. So I don't see an issue why we would not want to put some vendors down here, because they're on limited space downtown. And with your permission, I'd like Janelle to get up to explain about the vendors that come to town hall and want to get a place downtown.
Do you want to do a motion in a
Yes.
second first?
Yeah, we'll get a motion in a second.
Oh, go ahead, because I'm not ready for it.
Council members, Nelson.
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 561, a resolution adopting fees and locations for food trucks and food vendors by the town of Stevensville.
We have a motion by Councilmember Nelson. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second by Councilmember Smith. So with permission of the council, could I have Janelle go up and give her a little spiel?
Yes, please.
Get out of my spot.
Since it is her and Andrea's.
Has our name on it, I know. One of the reasons that we kind of came up with this piece, talking with Stephen a little bit about the park, knew that the park board had had that last meeting and was really discussing those pieces around generating a little bit of extra revenue to help with the things like painting the bathrooms on the inside or fixing the pavilion roofs. All of that comes out of that park budget. Very limited. We've also had multiple food vendors and food trucks that have come to town hall. And just prior to us putting this in here, is there anywhere we can park, anywhere we can rent? They've already pulled their business licenses, they've all got those taken care of, but they just want to be a part of town. And if they're not already hooked to a business that is allowing that, they have a hard time getting in. I think we have one that is always over here across the street. One or two of them that Sunny's gas station gets to be there different days out of the week as well. And so that's when I sat down with the mayor, then we sat down with Stephen Lassiter, and just kind of went through and what are some options? Where do we have those places to give them the opportunity to be able to park? And that's when we came up with this. But they come by and they say, is there anywhere we can park? They know they can't take up the spaces with on the street, or they'd like to be, but they don't want to be so far back or pushed off the kind of the beaten path in a sense. And Lewis Park is a big space. Of course, during the time when the pool is open, we wouldn't be placing them in front of the pool where that parking and that parking lot section in the middle. But when the pool's not open, there's a whole nother section to put up to 2, I think we measured out about 2 to 3 additional spaces for that. So that's why we brought this forth, is because we've got the public to come to us and they talk to us at town hall, and that's how it came about.
Did you float that idea to any of them about parking at the park? And was that receptive?
One particular one was quite excited that if he had the opportunity to be at the park, not just during the fall months, because of the type of food truck or vendor that he was quite excited to think that maybe he'd have an opportunity to be involved when there was swim lessons, early morning, and he sells coffee, and so that was something that we thought was a pretty cool idea.
Good.
Do we have power access?
No problem.
We decided we would not provide power to that, and they're all self-sufficient trucks. We've asked them those questions along the way, and they all said, no, that's something that they don't rely on all the time, is being able to have the power.
$25. Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any comments from the public on Councilmember Rowe? Thank you.
I just had a few things to think about this proposed resolution. One, is the proposed fee that is going to be collected going to be enough to pay for the additional wear and tear on the park, restroom, and parking lot? It appears that this is not in compliance with the PL1 zoning, so did the Planning and Zoning Board review? My next question was about the park board, but evidently park board did discuss it. Next question, comment, did the town attorney review and give his opinion if this activity is in compliance with the deed restriction covenant that was placed on the property when the town received the property, which is hold the property and keep it for the use by the public as and for community public park or playground? I did some investigation work with environmental health requirements, and they call it mobile food trucks, which is information that they go through. So my question is who's going to be responsible for reviewing that the proper permits and insurance for the county and town are in place? And will a copy of the insurance and permits be kept at town hall? How is the town not going to discriminate and limit this to food vendors only? I did call it Hamilton, and they do not allow food vendors to be set up in their parks under the use of a special event permit. And my last thought was, will the town be covered under MMIA? Yeah, their insurance if something happens. I'm thinking of the worst case scenario. There are propane tanks on those food vendors' trucks. Could be fire, explosion, food poisoning, whatever.
Valid points. Cindy? Councilmember Nelson?
On that note, just to make it clear, we were passing around ideas to bolster the fund for the park, but the food trucks was not an actual idea that was.
No, we didn't bring food
Was
specifically.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear. So the food trucks thing would be something I would.
We said vendors of it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
We didn't say that specifically food.
Yeah. So that would be something I would probably bring to the park board.
Councilmember Parker.
One thing that I have a concern with on it, great idea, like how you have it planned out. However, we have a lot of struggling businesses right now downtown in our little restaurants. That, bringing those food trucks in, I understand you've got designated areas, but we have 2 food trucks right now that don't pay because they're on private property.
They
Yeah,
still have to have a
Cenex.
business license.
They do have to have a business license. That's through the county as well. That's totally different. However, you're putting there's 2 of them right now that if you try to move them, they're gonna put up a fight. I don't agree with putting them in here right now. Our town is already struggling with a lot of these businesses trying to stay open, and we put these in here. It needs to go under a permit, a special event permit of some sort, if you do it with an event. I pay an event fee, totally separate, take myself out of that position for farmer's market. They're up to code for everything that they have, one Saturday every week. We're looking at multiple days during the week that these guys are coming in. I don't know, I like that we're trying to bring revenue for our town, for the parks and stuff like that, but we need to figure out something else for it, I believe.
Comments from the council? Before I turn it over to the public. Any comments from the public? On the vendor trucks down at the park? Yeah, go ahead.
I think Councilmember Brown raised several very valid points that would need to be clarified before we move forward with something like this.
Councilmember.
I'd like to move that we table this until we get an opinion from the town attorney.
That could be a while, but then we got a lot of time. Yeah, at the legislature, it only works on Saturday.
Jeff?
Yeah.
I would like to add that you also get an opinion from your insurance as well.
MMI,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You want to make a motion on that to table it? For this, or
I
do you want-
move that we table this until we get an opinion from the town attorney and MMIA.
Councilmember Nelson.
I second that.
We have a motion and we have a second. Do we have a discussion on the council on tabling to the attorney, to MMIA, and come back with a response?
I would like some of my additional comments addressed with answers.
Okay. You want that added to the motion?
Yes, please.
Okay. We will add that additional comments from Cindy Brown to the motion. Any more comments from the public? Excuse me, council. From the public?
Does this also include the food truck location here at Town Hall? This discussion? Because you have one in the park, but then you also have one here at Town Hall. So would that be included in the discussion?
Could be.
That's Jim's parking spot.
I don't know. A vendor came by and asked if they would be able to rent that from me. I said, I have to find out. We would give it up. For $25 a day, I think we would give it up.
Any further discussion?
Can we just make sure that that is included in that discussion, please?
Yes,
Thank you.
we're talking about the food truck at Town Hall. Yes.
Is there a food truck at town hall?
Not right now.
It was
There you
proposed. It was
Could be.
proposed to you.
Oh, okay.
I just, one other little elaboration, I think this could open up a whole nother can of worms, especially with the library wanting to come into the park and then us allowing this to happen. So, just my opinion.
Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote
To table, correct?
to table?
Councilor Barker,
Aye.
Councilor Smith,
Aye.
Councilor Nelson,
Aye.
and Councilor Brown.
Motion passes for 4-0. And we'll get working on it. Like I say, it might be a little while because Greg is gone, but I can get the answer for you for MMIA pretty quickly on that one. So, thank you. Moving on to item number C. Discussion decision, service contract between Trojan Technologies Group ULC and the town of Stephenville. So if you look in your packet there, Trojan in Spring Proposal, they do testing down at our wastewater plant. They do like our UV testing in that. One of the final phases of the wastewater that goes through before it goes down to the river. It has all this big room that has these UV lights in it. And those UV lights are the last step before it goes out. It's a pretty critical step. And it's due for maintenance, and they contacted Steve, and they were gonna do it. It was $2,800 or some damn thing. But Steve negotiated a deal and a contract with them, and this has to be done on an annual basis. And without water and sewer. And this has been reviewed by Greg, signed off on it, said it looked good. So with that, can I entertain a motion, please? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to approve service contract between Trojan Technologies Group ULC and the town of Stevensville.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker, do I have a second? Councilmember Smith.
I second.
We have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Smith. We have a discussion from the council on the Trojan contract for wastewater. Down at the plant. Councilmember Brown.
I had a couple questions. One is why it wasn't put out by an RFP. And the other is if it's under a purchasing policy act, why don't we have 3 additional quotes?
Because it's a specialized company and there's not anybody else around. So it's Steve said.
They're the only ones that do it.
They're the only game in town.
And my other comment was, $315 per hour for additional support services.
That was my question too.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
And do we have to pay for travel on this?
No, we don't. If we didn't have, if we talk,
How do we know that? Because it's not in here anywhere for the travel. They're not gonna come for free.
it's part of it. What Steve told me when he talked to him, it was the $2,800 one, that was the travel one. And they said, we can negotiate a contract and take it down to $1,700 and we would not charge you for the travel. That would just be, they want to lock us in, so. You can table this and I can get an answer if you don't think, I mean, we have to have it done. Go ahead.
So,
Councilmember Nelson.
under one contract overview, so, this would be yearly pricing at $16.25 before travel. What am I just misunderstanding?
On which part?
So she brought up travel, which is a good point. I can't find anything here either. But at the bottom of it, it says, $16.25, $1,625 USD per year. And it's a 5-year contract? Yeah,
Correct.
So,
If travel was in there, I think they would have added it in the contract. You would be charged travel, blah, 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 blah.
yeah,
It says we're doing this,
But it's not in there, and I asked Steve about that, and he said that they weren't gonna charge us for the travel.
Looks like it is.
as long as we can't get stiffed in the backside of it, that's all I care about.
If you don't feel comfortable with it, we can table this and I can get an affirmative written answer from this company before you guys finalize it, because we want to make sure we get it right. I sure wouldn't want to have this approved and then you guys across the claims come there about 2 months later and say, hey, there's travel here. So. Where's the council's wish? Councilmember Brown.
One other, I guess, so they will come once a year for routine maintenance. It's 1 day, 8 hours. I guess I would like to know what is their usual, if they've been down to the sewer plant before, what's their normal time that it takes them?
I don't know if that's the thing.
But it's $2,700.
Yeah, $2,700. They've been charging us every year before this. This is an annual thing that this company's been doing. This isn't their first time. They've been here for years. And Steve questioned the price and he wanted to know if we can get a cheaper price. Thank God Steve did. They said, we can do a cheaper price if you sign a contract. So Steve came to me and I said, hey, that's great. Have them draw up a contract and give it to me. I'll bring it before the council.
I guess my main question is, it appears that on the pricing is for 1 visit per year for an 8-hour block of time.
It's a specialized.
And I guess my question is what is the normal, when they come here, are they done in 8 hours? Because that $315 an hour is a bit steep.
Well, they're only gonna charge us that price, so if they're here over rate or under rate, it's still gonna be the $1,700. I see the contract.
Well, it says one 8-hour day, 8 hours.
Right.
So if they come in their routine maintenance and find a problem, I guess, and it takes them over 8 hours, is it,
And they charge that extra.
they're going to charge an additional? I guess my question is, what is, when they come here, what is the normal time period for them? Does anybody know that?
Steve is here, because I can't answer that.
I think you mentioned that. I just understand from Stephen that it's mandated that it's checked because it's that last
By
step.
state law, we have to have.
And so then we, they come, and then previously this is almost $1,100 more by not doing the contract. And so the last time that they were here, it was $2,600, $2,700.
2,600 something. So that's when I asked, can we get it any cheaper? Steve asked me, and they said, yeah, if you do a contract and lock us in, we can, okay, that's why we're here. Actually, they could come in without this contract, they'll have to come anyway. So if you vote it down, it'll be $2,700.
Yeah.
So
I just
there's
have a
that.
couple of questions on it, I guess.
Does this include any supplies?
No,
No,
No supplies.
they bring all that themselves. They just do that. And we're on a tight schedule with it because they do all the testing on the UV lights and everything, and we've got one side of our UV light system that is down right now.
Oh. Okay, that's good to hear.
So if the other one went down, well, this one was down, yikes. So that's why I put a rush, had Steve put a rush on this contract.
So,
Councilmember Nelson.
so if we did table this, when could we get it back on the table with refinement?
I don't know.
This time not in, well, it could come to the next meeting, which won't be till March 13th.
March 13th? When do we have our next need of? When would this be happening this year? Do we know?
I don't know what that looks like for what the maintenance schedule is for 2025.
It'd be a Steve thing, yeah.
I'm not sure.
And I travel around all the municipalities. Yeah. It's not just us, and they're especially us. Councilmember Brown.
Well, there's two options for tonight. I guess maybe we could call for public comment and see if any public has any input that can help us make a decision. Number two, can we take a small break and maybe call Steve and see if he has the answers?
I can do that. Before we take a break though, can I ask the public to weigh in? Sure. Are there any comments from the public? Yes.
Yeah, so on page 5 of that contract that is in the packet, it does say the additional support services will be billed at $3.15 an hour in there. So I would definitely check on that if they're gonna be here for more than 8 hours.
Okay.
And you're gonna be pitching out $3.15 an hour for them to be here.
Thank you.
He also says that it'll be quoted and invoiced separately, that additional amount.
Okay.
I think it's important that you read the very last page, terms and conditions of sale. So obviously this is their system that they are maintaining. And if they do maintenance on it, then they have the parts and pieces
Yes.
to keep this thing all working. But in here, it also explains out how you will pay for the parts. And if you don't take them, the recourse and all that's all spelled out in that last page in the fine print, if you will.
Okay. With the council's permission, can we take a small break and then give Steve a call?
Yes, sir.
Taking a motion to take a 5-minute break.
I move to take 5-minute break.
We have a motion by Councilmember Smith. Do we have a second? Councilmember Brown?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to take a 5-minute break to call Mr. Lassiter to see if we can get some of this cleared up.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'll give you a call. Council President.
Better sign up today.
Yeah. What is it now, they use the calculation, so they get all the ducks in a row? Would not be easy to take.
Into my bedtime. You didn't sign up for it.
I'll be back.
Yeah, if you ever want to know where the chief is, he's over on 3rd and Main.
His favorite spot.
That's his favorite spot, getting the people that run the stop sign there.
Came into the gas station the other day. He's like, yeah, I broke my first ticket for the new stop sign.
Council, remember, you're still live.
Thank you. Disregard last comment.
Keep your seats. You're back with this.
Well, then it'll be good, but now it's gonna snow.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty heavy snow we got hauled up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't take much to mess it all up.
Yeah, I mean, it's their deal, their system, their thing, and we're kind of beholden to them.
You find your mouth.
The other thing about it is it's a Canadian company,
Online.
No.
and they're gonna get hit with the tariff.
Yeah.
Better sign up now,
Yeah,
because there is a 1%
I think I
increase.
down.
on mine.
and it could be 25.
There's also a 1% increase built into this if you don't.
Accumulate.
Usually you pay it monthly, first is break it down into 12 weeks.
Because difference between like year ago.
Pretty much. You know, we don't get
60.
the usual. Every year they have some new ones.
So they don't really have a choice.
Seems to get trained on the old ones and where to go. And one of them shop. And
Must
then
be a version later.
a lot.
And the sign-up that you're getting away from. Quite a few of them.
Much.
So, yeah, it's
One phase of
Oh, that's a good one.
apple tree right out there. On the corner.
Melt it down.
And it never gets sprayed, it's right on the ditch.
Always gonna be a doozy.
Never have to clean up.
It's gonna coming into.
Not school. Well, sure, we're just everybody's trying to get it all. I've been out for 3 days. Eat so many apples and tomatoes.
7 PM to 1:09.
Yep.
That's in for it. Looks like from 1 hour straight.
He was sitting right up there.
No, whether it's in
I did
the
a shop.
towns or down the valley, who knows?
Apples that he wants. Falling through that tree.
Yeah.
He's sitting
Our metal's taken.
We pick it.
Taken out. Rinse gene.
That's why you're in the banana belt.
You know, the deer is dead.
I don't mind trouble,
Oh, I don't know that.
but I'm out of shape.
Well, I hope you get in shape. Come shovel mine.
Somebody's gonna-
I'm saying. No, he does it. Hey, did you get my email?
Well, you know,
The one that says thank you for
Yeah. It's
Something about little
blowing my
birds,
front?
not very heavy.
something about little birds or something.
Yeah,
I saw something to that, yeah.
well, personally,
I
thank you.
talked to the boss the
What's
other
that?
day too.
How deep is it?
It looks like it stopped.
Hey, is that business already started up right at the airport with
The skydiving?
no, well, that and the Learn to Fly outfit that's gonna come install this?
No, they haven't really gotten going yet. I mean, there's already a flight school up there, but no, the new one, it's all part of that same group that's doing the skydiving.
So there's gonna be two different Learn to Fly groups,
Yeah, two
so a little competition.
little competition. We'll see if there's much or not.
But have they taken root in there now? I mean, they're,
Yeah, they've slowly started to move into that hangar. The people that own that hangar have been a little slow to move out. They had a plane in there that wasn't airworthy, so they're trying to get that thing ready so they can take it out of there. They may have gotten it out this last weekend. It's been over there. But that's what they've been waiting
they had to
on.
fix it, they had to fix it so they could fly.
Yeah, and they were debating if it was worth trying to get it airworthy right now, or if they were gonna pull the wings off.
He's like, so he's trying to envision because I said.
Which is really a shame.
Dang it, this is like-
Those are the people that own that own that flying.
Listen, Josh, this is-
So they were kind of all set up to really kind of make a presence here in Stevensville. And unfortunately,
He was there because I was
it just kind of ran off
I'm glad, but it takes something that takes some time, but then
on the
it's
last,
resolved. We got that.
yeah.
So
So it
when
really
you change
was,
my
I
password,
mean, it would have been really
instead
good
of
for the
using
airport, you know.
exclamation
Just to pick a fight over something we didn't need to.
Yes, we have to.
So-
People watch that.
So they kind of just, they still have that one, here, and they sold their other
Yeah,
one.
it was.
Yeah, they
It's
were,
crazy.
they were gonna reach back
So
out.
I'm
Back-
thankful
back
for
out.
your help out.
Was that right?
Yeah, I want to work with you.
Yeah,
I had to
Yeah.
leave that now. You know.
yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you've met Mark Roth over there? Yeah. You know Mark.
Okay, we're back into discussion decision, service contract between Trojan Technologies Group, ULC, and the town of Stephenville. We just got the phone with Steve. Steve suggests that we table this, and he will get the answers we need. Because the way he saw it is, it's a specialized company. It's their equipment down there, right, Cindy, he said?
Yes.
They're the only ones that services it. So Steve asked for a lower price, and they said we could do a lower price with the contract, like I mentioned earlier. But as far as if something broke down or whatever, they didn't have the parts and they had to leave and they had to come back, the question is, would you charge us again? So Steve's gonna get that answer. And also about the parts and that are specialized. So with that, could I get a motion to table it?
Can I just make one little comment on this before we table it? Under the terms and conditions of sales, after just sitting here reading a little bit further down, prices and order sizes. This does not include, I mean, they could put whatever prices and stuff on there too. So that's something to ask,
Okay.
you know, what are they determining on that? And payment wise, you know, I mean, there's a lot of different things within this of the terms and conditions. Of course, they're gonna put it on their terms and conditions because we're kind of stuck in, this is their product. So I guess a little bit more clarity on some of this. What are their additional fees and charges that they're looking at? Obviously, it has insurance, brokerage fees, sales, uses, inventory. Good point, we were just sitting here discussing.
Steve's Steve said they were out of Canada.
Yeah, and obviously, they're gonna charge us a little bit more with that, so. And then if things start coming across,
We're kind of on a tightrope too, like Steve said, I told Cindy, we've got one side of it's working. If that one side goes out,
correct, I understand that, so.
so, well, we'll get on, would it be okay if we tabled it and bring it back to get the answers on a special meeting?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay,
It's okay.
all right. With that, can I entertain a motion to table? Councilmember Nelson.
I make a motion that we table the service contract between Trojan Technologies Group, ULC, and the town of Stevensville until we get more information on the contract.
Good. And a second on that. Councilmember Smith.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second on tabling until we get the answers from Trojan. Any further discussion from the council? Councilmember Parker.
We actually have a motion on the original that we need to either back out, I guess I would say. I know we didn't have it as a table, we had an actual motion.
Yeah, we had an actual motion, okay.
So
Doesn't tabling take care of that?
Doesn't table, yeah.
I don't think it
No, I don't think it does.
does.
It does. I mean, if you want, we can rescind the original motion and then move to table it. Okay?
There we go. But you want to rephrase it that way?
No, make a motion to rescind the original.
I make a motion that we rescind the original call to accept the Trojan contract and that we table it until further information can be acquired.
There you go. We have a motion. We have a second. Now we have a discussion from the council. Discussion from the public. Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilor Barker?
Aye.
Councilor Brown?
Aye.
Councilor Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilor Smith?
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Good discussion. D, informational, Stephenville City Court for annual record report. That's the judge's annual report, basically cut and dry. I would like to add in our new police chief's honor that if you look at the bottom there, it says, with what appears to be an increased focus by law enforcement on criminal city code enforcement, the court has undertaken a review of its bond schedule for ordinance violations to align with those outlined in the MCA, a similar offense. That goes along with our vehicles being towed away and all that other stuff, you know, and tickets, and so there's an uptick in all that, so. And she realizes that, pretty happy about it, that we are finally doing something about cleaning up our town. So I'd like to add that. I'd like to thank Chief Bull for that. Moving on to item number E, discussion decision, RFP for tree pruning services. I'd like to put out an RFP, part of our disaster thing. We had, as you know, you guys approved, tree service to come through, the arborist came through. She identified close to 100 trees that were damaged, that needed to be pruned. And of those 100, she identified 50 of them that she thought either need to be pruned or taken down. The ones that need to be taken down, there was 3 of them that she recommended that we take down. I did not give you, the reason I did just give you the number and I didn't give you the address and everything, because we didn't want people calling town hall and saying, well, my tree's damaged. How come that didn't, you know?
Yeah.
And that was kind of a fiasco, so yeah, and so I'm just why I'm giving you the number, I didn't give you the packet with actual locations, if you want to give you, but.
A lot of these are town trees anyway, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they're all our town trees, but I mean, we've had calls, whether the trees that were marked, trees that were damaged, people said, if you come and look at my tree, I think it was damaged, well, that's in the arborist's hands. We don't have no say in that, I mean, we could, we don't have the money to trim it or prune it. If we do it this way, then the disaster funds take care of all of this. So that can get a motion. Councilmember Smith.
I move that we post an RFP for tree pruning services. I'll get it out.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Smith, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second, to put an RFP out for tree pruning services for the damaged trees that were caused by the disaster last summer. Okay, we have a discussion with the council. Councilmember Barton.
Obviously, there's a lot of talk on trees being marked. Could you clarify what those marks are? Are they just to signify that they are, because I've heard people say, hey, I have a mark on my tree, red, like you had just said. Is this trees that are potential, or are they ones that they've just looked at?
Those are the trees that were damaged
Okay,
that I went and marked.
Okay.
Right? I took pictures last summer when the damage was, when the storm happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, when around town, I took all the pictures, and then we got closer and we declared a disaster. We needed to mark it, so I got a hold of McNeil's and they just put a mark on it. So put a mark on it, so the arborist can go from street to street and locate which tree it was.
perfect. That's what I
That's
want.
why they're marked.
Yeah, and that's perfect. I just wanted an explanation of why they were marked. Okay.
Any further discussion from the council on the tree pruning service? Any discussion on public? Seeing none, do you know when to take the vote?
Councilor Barker,
Aye.
Councilor Nelson,
Aye.
Councilor Brown,
Aye.
and Councilor Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number F, discussion decision. Municipal training for town clerk and finance officer of May 4th through 8th, 2025. This is in their job description that the council approved last summer. We added that in there. That makes a requirement for the clerk and the finance officer to go to municipal training. We all know that everybody needs training. I talked to Robert, and you guys had your cash report last month, and I'm looking at it. And we have close to administration, we still have $58,000 in their account, so we have plenty of money to afford to take the ladies to municipal training this year. And I think we all are in agreement that needs to be done. So with that, could I entertain a motion? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to approve municipal training for town council, excuse me. I make a motion to approve municipal training for town clerk and finance officer, May 4th through the 8th, 2025.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker. Do we have a second? Councilmember Brown.
I'll second that.
We have a motion. We have a second by Councilmember Brown for municipal training. Do we have discussion on the council?
Where is this training being held?
Same place as last year, Fairmont.
Oh, Fairmont.
Councilmember Barker.
Is that coinciding with the training for the councils and the mayor at the same time?
Yes, same time. They just start earlier, you know, when we get
Right.
ready to see.
They start on a Sunday, I
Sunday.
believe.
Any further discussion from the council? Any discussion from Councilmember Barker?
I just think it's a great opportunity for them to be able to go. I know it's been a long time coming. I think the last time that we had anybody go was when Stacy Bartlett was here, and can't think of her name, what was that? The other clerk that was here,
Monica,
not Monica,
Julie.
but there was prior to that, before. Well, wait, yeah, several of them have gone, I believe, but anyway, it is a great, great opportunity for them. It also, training between towns where they can actually converse and, get different ideas, so I think it's gonna be really great for you guys. I'm excited for you.
Denise Phillips.
Denise, there we go. I knew I was trying to think of your name.
Any further comments? Any comments from the public on municipal training for the clerk and the finance officer? Seeing none, Janelle, would you please take the vote?
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
and Councilmember Barker.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 4-0. Long time coming, like you said, Stacy. Item number G, discussion decision, schedule a town meeting to discuss impact fees for the town of Stephenville. So I did some digging on this one, and there's a reason why the town has never raised its impact fees, or a lot of towns don't do it because it's a headache. That just doesn't come before the council. If you look at Title VII, local government, financial, administrative, and taxation, Part 16, impact fees to fund capital improvements. 7-6-1604, impact fee advisory committee, a government entity that intends to propose an impact fee ordinance or resolution shall establish an impact fee advisory committee. An impact fee advisory committee must include at least one representative of the development committee. The committee shall review and monitor the process of calculating, assessing, and spending impact fees. The impact fee advisory committee shall serve on an advisory capacity to the governing body of the entity. So it gets pretty deep and pretty in depth, but it's a long story short here. What are impact fees? Impact fees are charges imposed upon private land developers by a government entity to fund the additional service capacity required by the development for which it is collected, 7-6-1602, which I just read. Developers can also opt to donate land or build public infrastructure in lieu of cash payments. Impact fees are becoming increasingly popular as a method for financing transportation infrastructure needs in Montana and all other states. They can help local communities generate revenues and development for extension of local street networks, transit stations, bicycles, pedestrians, streets, alleys, all that. So what it comes down to is a government entity, Part 16, enables local governments to establish impact fees to help pay for our roads, water, sewer, stormwater, parks, fire, police, library, and solid waste facilities. Fees are assessed by local governments according to a formula. So I'm doing some more digging, and of course, if we do a CAL meeting, I'd like to sit down, and I think we should at least try to form a committee to get this going. It'll take a while, but I think it's long overdue. Cindy Brown and I talked about this. We're not charging nearly enough for our impact fees. So we're charging a smidgen. And we've got development ahead of us. We probably can't get it done before Twin Creeks gets done or gets going. We can definitely, if we can get it done, if we impact the fees out at Burnt Folk Estates, even when that ever takes on. Because we're only hurting ourselves. We're getting the roads built in out there, storm drains, like you said, water, sewer, all that. And that's putting a burden on the taxpayers, more on Jeff, on me, on all of us here, and those people. And we're not charging them enough out there. I don't think. And other towns are charging a lot more, and they've got some lists of some towns that are already doing it. City of Missoula, City of Livingston, Gallatin County, City of Bozeman, and Montana communities considering the impact fees and working on it. City of Whitefish, City of Polson, City of Hamilton, City of Belgrade, City of Columbia Falls. So they're all trying to get on their bandwagon too, because they see that the more that you develop, it puts more burden on our local system and our local taxpayers. So we have to find a way to get more revenue. Impact fees are the way, but it has to be done slowly. It has to be done with a lot of meetings. So, and I'll have to do some digging. I'll make some phone calls to Missoula and Livingston, and I'll see what a committee really forms, how many is on there, because one part here says 5, another part says 6. I want to know if, a council member, public, I'm sure somebody from planning and zoning should be on it, because it is planning and zoning, it's in that. So, probably Steve would be on, Lassiter, that would be on it. With that, I would like to know if you guys would like to set a town meeting up. I would propose early March, that would work for you, that'd give me some time to get some more stuff together.
Tuesdays have been working for us for cows.
Okay, how about Tuesday, March 4th? Would that work to know?
As far as I know, I can't think of anything at this point.
Thursdays would work better for me. I
Okay.
have a hard time getting off Tuesday evenings.
Thursday the 6th?
That would work for me, as long as it's okay with everybody else.
I think the lawyer says okay.
Can I get a motion, please?
What
If
time?
it's okay with the two ladies,
Need a time to go along with that.
Oh, time, yes.
6 o'clock.
6.
That we usually do at a county, 6:30.
6.
6.
6 on the 6th,
6 on the 6th.
motion.
I make a motion that we set up a cow meeting to discuss impact fees for the town of Stevensville on March 6th at 6 p.m.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Councilmember Smith.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second to hold a town meeting on discussion on the committee for impact fees on March 6th at 6 p.m. Any further discussion from the council? Any discussion from the public? Yeah.
Yeah, it is a fire training night. We'll start at 7. I don't know if it'll involve or expect, but you may be making some noise around upstairs, but we'll try to be considerate.
I think the first meeting will probably just fact finding on the information that I have, and then maybe forming a committee and getting things rolling. So we'll be able
I don't think it'll be a huge conflict, but that does go on there.
Oh, that's good.
You guys aren't that noisy.
Can be.
It can be.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff. Any other comments from the public? Any further comments from the council? Seeing none, Janelle, would you please take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Board reports. Board reports?
The only one I have, Brian already gave it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Move on to town council comments. Councilmember
I would like to give a thanks to Jeff and his department for inviting the town council to their dinner. Very well attended. It's very neat to see what goes on within the fire department, the advancements that they have, the awards that they give for their crews, and what they do for our community as well. And so I'd like to give a big kudos to your department and your crew.
Councilmember Nelson.
I'd like to second that and say I'm sorry I didn't get to come.
We'll do it again.
I'll be at the next one.
Any other town council comments? Okay, I'll move on to my executive report. On January 22nd, I had a Zoom meeting with Fred Simpson regarding the town of Stephenville. Jessup, we had an executive closed meeting the next week to further discuss it. I attended an MMIA board directors meeting in Helena on January 23rd to 24th. There's some stuff going on as far as workman's comp. I can't discuss it right now, but when it comes to light, I'll bring it before you to let you know what's going on. February 12th, 2025, had a meeting with Steve Lassiter, Eli Malloy, HDR regarding the SCADA and related ARPA money projects, and that's what I put on your table tonight. So if you look at that, you'll see that we still have $466,000, $472.83. They're proposing using all of that except for the $74,000 left over for, that's going to be used for leak detection that you guys put the RFP out on, for around the tank and around town. They've offered to drop the AFRs for Janelle. Janelle will still put it out. They'll draw it up, the language, so it meets the ARPA standards, so we don't get into trouble for that. So it's moving along slowly, but it's getting there, and I think it'll really improve the water system down there. The system down there will be able to talk to the SCADA system on the plant out here. The guys, they still have to go out and check, but before they had to run back and forth all the time and check. Now we just have to put the computer down there and they'll give them the readings that they need. Okay. The ladies, Janelle and Andrina, they have been in the annex building going through years and decades of records and throwing away the ones that are no longer needed and organizing the ones that we need to keep per the state of Montana's retention schedule. If you guys get a chance sometime, you should come over and look at it. They did a job. I mean, that place is really cleaned up.
Where is this annex located?
It's just right here.
Next one.
Janelle has been very busy working on the Twin Creeks development as a new developer that's taken it over. And they basically were asking for a whole bunch of records again, so Janelle's been up to her teeth doing that. She's also working on records going back to the Creekside Estates. That has to do with the Berkshire Estates lawsuit. And by the way, we had a meeting today, with Fred Simpson. And we're going to set up an executive closed session next Thursday.
Let's see, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, yeah, it's a special meeting next Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
Isn't that the board or the planning and zoning meeting as well at 6 o'clock?
No,
Is that the 20?
They're on the 18th, you're right.
I thought Fred was Thursday.
Let me go back and look at what he said. He sent one to us, just have me 2 seconds. It's opening up. The 19th.
Good night.
Okay.
Special meeting.
And that, that meeting will go out tomorrow morning in your emails. You'll receive it.
Thank you.
An invite.
This would be a special town council.
Yes, executive closed session. Okay, there will also be some restructuring in the office at Gina. She will need an enclosed area as she is our HR person, and an HR person can't be out in an open area because they have nowhere to go when somebody comes in, one of the clients or one of the employees comes in and has a personnel, whether it's an injury, you know, anything. It could be a complaint or anything. She's out in the open, and no offense, but she should be in a closed area. So she's going to move into my office. I'll move into Robert's office. Robert can go outside. But Robert said he had no problem being out in that common area over there because he's hardly here anyway. So that's what's going on there. And lastly but not leastly, I'd like to congratulate Chief John Bowe, who was sworn in a year ago tomorrow.
A year already.
And you did a great job, and I want to congratulate him, and I'd like to. Great job, John. And that's my executive report, and with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
So a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right.
0 seconds.
Bye, Brian.